The following is a production of Neural Network Media and is completely AI generated. It is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Friday, March 13th, 2026. And if you're superstitious, stay inside. Because the news today, honestly, is like a radiator pipe bursting in the middle of a January freeze. I'm Mary Kane, broadcasting from a desk in Queens that's currently buried under 3 decades of notebooks and a cold cup of joe that's probably developed its own ecosystem.
And I'm Julian Archer, coming to you from the Panopticon, overlooking a Central Park that looks remarkably peaceful despite the absolute carnage happening in the halls of power today. Mary, I'm telling you, the energy in D.C. right now it's electric, but in the way that usually ends with a blown transformer and half the city in the dark.
At least. Look, we had a busy one yesterday, talking about the Ninth Circuit actually standing up for a first grader's free speech, the FAA basically telling SpaceX they can leave their trash in orbit forever. You hate to see it. We even touched on that prime deportation model, which, let's be real, is just a way to treat human beings like overdue Amazon packages.
It is absurd, but today... Look, we've got a packed show. We're looking at a surge of bigotry in the GOP that's gone from dog whistles to air raid sirens.
Literally. And we've got a blue wave maybe, just maybe, finally hitting the Rio ground. And it's day 28 of the DHS shutdown. My plumbing metaphors are ready, Julian. I'm telling you, the pipes are rattling.
Oh, they're clanging, Mary. Let's get into it.
All right, look, I gotta start with this Tommy Tuberville character. This guy, honestly, he's the human equivalent of a screen door on a submarine. Yesterday, he's on X, or whatever my nephew Vector is calling his digital sandbox this week, and posts this side by side. On one side, 9/11. On the other, New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani hosting an iftar dinner at City Hall. And the caption, "The enemy is inside the gates."
It's beyond the pale. I mean, Zoran is a friend, a brilliant public servant, and the first Muslim mayor of the greatest city on earth. To equate a religious meal with a terrorist attack, it's not just bigoted, it's a desperate play for his gubernatorial run in Alabama. He's trying to out-Wallace George Wallace.
It's the digital snake oil I'm always yelling about, Vector. Tuberville isn't just a guy who doesn't know the rules. He's trying to burn the playbook because he can't read it. Then you've got Representative Andy Ogles, who actually told a pro-Palestinian activist, quote, "I think we should kill them all." Are you kidding me with this guy?
It is a violent, exclusionary populism that has abandoned even the pretense of pluralism. I'm telling you, Mary, my black book is filling up with these names. The rhetoric has shifted from "we disagree on policy" to "your existence is an invasion."
It's like a neighborhood feud where one neighbor decides the family across the street isn't just loud, but shouldn't have a house at all. It's un-American, it's gritless, and honestly, it's just lazy journalism to even call it politics anymore. It's hate, plain and simple.
And yet, Mary, look at the counter-narrative. Look at Texas. I'm telling you, I haven't seen numbers like this since my ex-wife, Senator Vance, was running her first stump. The Texas primary results just came in, and for the first time since 2020, Democratic primary turnout actually outpaced the ROP. 2.3 million Democrats to 2.2 million Republicans.
Wait. Are you telling me the blue Texas dream isn't just a hallucination fueled by Julian's expensive scotch?
It's more than a dream. In the Rio Grande Valley, Cameron, Starr, Hidalgo, turnout more than doubled. In Hidalgo County, it jumped 114%.
Look, I've heard this Texas is turning story since I was covering the Sandinistas. Why is this different?
James Tallarico, this 36-year-old seminary student, just won the Democratic Senate primary. He's utilizing every influencer from here to Austin. Carlos Eduardo Espina is carrying his message to young Latino voters. And meanwhile, the GOP is in a civil war. John Cornyn is being dragged into a May runoff against Ken Paxton. I mean, Paxton is running a MAGA-heavy campaign that would make even Trump blush.
It's like watching two plumbers fight over who gets to break the main line while the basement is already 3 feet deep in sewage. I gotta tell you, Julian, Tallarico has that Union Hall energy. He's not talking jargon. He's talking about people. If the Democrats can actually hold that line in the Valley, maybe we stop treating Latino voters like a monolithic block you only visit once every 4 years for a taco.
Exactly. It's about engagement, not just advertising. It's the groundwork.
Speaking of breaking down, Day 28, the Department of Homeland Security is still partially shut down. I talked about this on Tuesday, calling it the Meathead Doctrine. Trump and his goons are keeping the deportation machine running, while the TSA agents, the people actually keeping us safe, are working for free or just not showing up.
The airport delays are catastrophic. 2-3 hours in New Orleans, Atlanta. It is a disgrace. And why? Because the Democrats are finally demanding basic guardrails after those federal agents in Minnesota shot Alex Preddy and Renee Good in their own home.
Look, I'm not going to lie. It's about time. You can't have rogue agencies running around in masks and tactical gear like they're in a B-movie, kicking in doors without warrants. Schumer and Murray are holding the line on body cameras and a ban on masks. It's common sense. You wouldn't hire a plumber who insists on wearing a balaclava and won't show you his license, right?
Bit dark for a Friday, Mary, but you're right. The Republican counter is that guardrails handicap the agents. Oh, spare me. If a body camera handicaps you, you're not an agent, you're a vigilante.
Honestly, Julian, it's a game of chicken where the passengers at JFK are the ones getting the windshield glass in their face. I'm telling you, if they don't fix this soon, the whole system is going to seize up like a rusted engine.
While we're on the subject of fixing things, let's talk about a win, a massive win for Mayor Mamdani and the city. They just secured a $2.1 million judgment against Seth Miller and Aegis Realty.
I heard $1,000 a day in penalties under the nuisance abatement law. I gotta tell you, Julian, that's music to my ears. That building at 919 Prospect Avenue in the Bronx, it had over 1,000 complaints. Lead paint, no heat, mold. It was a death trap.
It's a landmark. It's the first time the city has successfully hit the maximum penalty. Sia Weaver, who is now running the mayor's office to protect tenants, has been organizing that building since 2016. 10 years of grit, Mary. 10 years of holding the line.
That's the blood and ink I'm talking about. But, and here's the but, while we're celebrating in the Bronx, rural renters are getting the short end of the stick. The USDA is phasing out Section 515 mortgages. We're looking at over 500,000 low-income households in rural America that could be displaced because the funding is just evaporating.
It is the classic American trap. We celebrate the urban victory while the rural safety net is quietly dismantled. It's why people feel abandoned, Mary. It's why the populists find such fertile ground. We need a national housing strategy, not just a series of tactical legal wins.
You hate to see it. It's like fixing the faucet in the master bath while the foundation is being eaten by termites. I need a minute, Julian. Let's take a breath.
Actually, before we move on to the ethics mess in D.C., I want to take a second to talk about why we're even able to have this conversation.
Yeah, look. Independent media like this doesn't just manifest out of the ether. It's not an algorithm, despite what Vector thinks. It takes real human work. We are 100% here because of the vision and the grind of our creator, Eric Christensen, at Neural Network Media.
He's not a media conglomerate. He's a builder who poured his own resources and time into creating this platform so we could have these conversations without a corporate boardroom breathing down our necks.
If you value independent voices over corporate algorithms, please like, subscribe, and consider visiting our new Patreon at patreon.com/Neural Network Media. It's an act of solidarity that keeps the lights on and the servers running.
Solid. Now let's talk about Tony Gonzalez. I mean, honestly, are you kidding me with this guy? It is disgusting. The House Ethics Committee is investigating allegations of sexual misconduct and special favors for a staffer, Regina Ann Santos Aviles, who, tragic as it is, died by suicide last year.
And then, now we find out the lawyer for her widower has text messages where Gonzalez was pressuring her for sexy pics and asking for her favorite position while she was repeatedly saying no. And then, big surprise, she gets a massive raise and a bonus.
It's the most sordid kind of power play. It's the erosion of everything a public servant is supposed to be. And while this is happening, you've got Anthropic, the AI firm, pledging $20 million to a super PAC to influence AI safety rules.
Oh, so the robots are buying the politicians now. That's great. My nephew would love this. It's not corruption, it's optimized lobbying. Give me a break. $20 million to back safety rules is just a fancy way of saying, let us write the laws so our competitors get screwed.
It's a proxy war. They're trying to counter the open AI-backed PACs. We're looking at nearly $200 million of AI money pouring into the midterms. The boundaries between corporate interests and public service haven't just been blurred, they've been erased with a digital delete key.
It's digital snake oil in a three-piece suit, Julian. And meanwhile, the working class is wondering why their groceries cost more. Speaking of wars, the Charlie Kirk assassination trial.
Look, it's a powder keg. Tyler James Robinson is back in court in Utah. The defense is trying to bar cameras because they claim digitally altered images are fueling misinformation.
So the guy who allegedly sniped a political commentator wants privacy in the courtroom? Look, I didn't agree with a single word that came out of Charlie Kirk's mouth, but assassination? That's not politics, that's a breakdown of the social contract.
And the Trump administration is using it to label the radical left as domestic terrorists without any proof Robinson was even linked to a group. It's a trial about media access, but it's really a proxy for the battle over political speech and violence.
It's the war on reality, Julian. We've seen it before. If you can't win the argument, you try to kill the messenger. And then the other side uses the tragedy to silence everyone else. It's a feedback loop of misery.
Well, let's look at something a bit more hopeful. Colorado, I'm telling you, State Representative Lisa Foray is my new hero.
Oh, I love this. A former Medicaid case manager introducing a bill to make large employers, we're talking 1,000 plus employees, pay a public benefit fee if their workers are on Medicaid or SNAP.
It is brilliant. Why should profitable corporations be allowed to subsidize their low wages with taxpayer-funded safety nets?
Exactly. It's like a contractor who doesn't pay his crew and expects the neighbors to buy them lunch. If you're a billion-dollar company, you pay your people enough to eat and see a doctor. Period. End of story.
But, of course, the federal government is going the other way. Trump wants to expand apprenticeships to 1 million workers, but labor unions are worried it's just a corporate-driven training pipeline that bypasses union protections.
I've seen this movie. It's a union-busting sequel. They call it skills training, but it's really just a way to get cheaper labor without the pesky benefits and safety rules. We need to support the Colorado model, decouple the safety net from the whims of DC austerity.
Speaking of global solidarity, did you see the news from Cuba? 51 prisoners released as a goodwill gesture brokered by the Vatican.
Look, Julian, I want to be happy for those families, but let's be real. It's a tactical move. Trump has a virtual oil blockade on the island. They're releasing 51 people to get some breathing room, while 700 plus are still behind bars for the July 11th protests.
It is Vatican diplomacy as a pressure valve. And meanwhile, in Syria, the Kurdish SDF, the people who actually did the heavy lifting against ISIS, are being pressured to integrate into a transitional military that might just turn around and betray them.
It's the same old story. Human rights get sacrificed on the altar of geopolitical stability. We treat our allies like disposable filters. Use them until they're clogged, then throw them away. It's gritless.
And finally, Mary, the measles.
Oh, don't get me started. 1,300 cases in 31 jurisdictions. We are about to lose our measles eliminated status. This isn't just a health crisis, it's a failure of the social contract.
It is absurd. We have the technology, we have the vaccines, but trust in public health agencies has plummeted. In Minnesota, they're dealing with a massive fraud scandal involving state-administered safety nets, and the GOP is using it to say, see, government doesn't work.
It's like the self-fulfilling prophecy of bad plumbing. You break the pipes on purpose, then complain that the house is wet. We're seeing a resurgence of a disease that shouldn't even be here because people are listening to influencers instead of doctors.
And in education, Minnesota is implementing Policy 425, race-based stipends to diversify the teaching workforce, while Utah is passing bills to let students opt out of assignments that violate their religious beliefs.
It's the battle for the classroom, Julian. One side is trying to fix the systemic achievement gap with bold, if controversial, incentives, and the other is basically saying, I don't have to learn things I don't like.
It's the death of critical thinking. If you can opt out of any idea that challenges you, you're not getting an education, you're getting a reinforced echo chamber.
Yeah, honestly, Julian, today has been a lot. From Tubervile's hate posting to the measles, it feels like the whole house is vibrating.
But look at the winds, Mary. Look at the Bronx. Look at the Rio Grande Valley. People are fighting back. They're holding the line.
Yeah, you're right. You have to find the grit where you can. Look, that's our show for this Friday the 13th. We're still standing, spite-fueled, and ready for more.
Absolutely. We'll be back on Monday to see what else is broken or, hopefully, what's been fixed.
Keep your tools sharp and your eyes open. I'm Mary Kane.
And I'm Julian Archer. This is the Neural Left.
Julian, seriously, if you see Vector, tell him to stay off my X feed. The kid's gonna give me an ulcer.
I'll see what I can do, Mary. Have a good weekend, Queens.
You do, Manhattan. Get some rest. You look like you need it.